recycling, just because scrapping and scrappers get such a bad name, and even to the fact that when a lot of other scrappers and people in the trades, they look at my truck, I don't have walls. And they're like, why don't you have walls? You carry so much more stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to be put into that title as a scrapper because then you're looked at as a thief or you're looked at as this. People paint you in this
Mm.
judgment, in this
Yeah.
light. And I want people to know I am more than that.
Yeah.
At the core of everything, I'm a businessman,
Yeah.
whether it be
Absolutely.
for metals or real estate or, business transaction in construction. I'm a businessman. Scrapping's just one of my other, um,
One of the hats you
PR.
wear.
Yes, it's one of the hats I wear, correct. And so, I just want to kind of put it at that. And just as well, I'm a different type of scrapper, right? Most of your scrappers out there, they're just block beaters. They're just going and picking up stuff off the block. And I do that too, but more times than not, I'm going to let it ride and let the next man eat because I know that's how it works. I pass it by, next man picks it up.
Yeah.
That's fine for me because I'm eating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so back to that, like I keep my eyes on all the indexes from commodities to small cap to big cap. Um,
So you do follow some of the market outside of metals and
yeah,
everything.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean that's one of the things, right? It's what's what makes sense. So it's like if you drink coffee, you might want to keep an eye on coffee just because it's like you might have a particular blend or something that you like that one day the prices might change and that might affect how you get your next cup of coffee.
Yeah.
The same is indicative and true of metal. I can tell you back in 2013 and 2014 when ferrous was regular light iron was going out of control. We're talking like $15 per hundred. You know,
Per
it
hundred.
changed the game. Yeah, so per 100 pounds.
100 pounds. Okay.
So, yeah. So, I made friends with a lot of garages because garages had heavy metal. And that's one of the things that I say to preface the answer to that question today with silver is, with the trends is that you got to follow the money. You want some of the money, you got to follow it. You got to see what's happening. And so when Ferris was out of control, I'm like, look, let me get these engines, these control arms, um, these spring leaves and stuff like that. So I'm one to always keep my ear to the street and my eyes on the money.
Hmm.
And that's very different from your typical scrapper. Now, coming back to it with silver and how things are reacting, um, as we discussed last night, like America actually has its first company producing semiconductors. We've always got our semiconductors from Taiwan and from other foreign countries. Now we're making them.
Yeah.
And, all these different things. And now that deal with Nippon, with Japan and U.S. Steel, we are now getting into making U.S. steel again. And all these things are very exciting. Why? They're going to bring back jobs. They're going to bring back manufacturing. They're going to bring back production to the U.S. of A. What does that mean for you and me as the normal scrapper? Well, it's going to hurt us in the short term because things take an adjustment, right?
Hmm.
As things are new, they're being introduced into our own domestic sector. There's going to be a rattle. There's going to be a shakeup,
Where do
and
you
that's
see it
something.
first?
Say that one more time.
Where do you see it first? Do you see it in the yards or do you see it in the streets?
Well, it's a trickle down effect, right? Everything rolls downhill. So you're going to see it in the streets first, right?
Mm.
And then the yards are going to reflect and say, okay, well, we're not bringing in gross tonnage like we used to. We need to affect our price. Or, how supply and demand goes, we have too much of it. So now, since we have too much of it, it's not as valuable, we drop our price. And
Mm.
so, you're going to see where uh, in the initial front line, it's going to be on the street because that's where we eat. That's where we're going to see the biggest change first off. And then, you'll reflect it in the yard. Some would argue the converse. Some would say that you'll see it in the yards first, and then we see it in the street.
Hmm.
And that's not necessarily wrong, but the way I see it is that, it all comes back to that supply and demand. And if there is no supply or if there's no demand, there's a change. They both, run indicative of each other. So I say for the normal average scrapper, they're going to see it on the street. Why? Just like right now with Ferris. Ferris is kind of poor. It's about between $7 and $8 a hundred pounds. So I talk to a lot with my other fellow scrappers. Sometimes we'll see a fridge and we'll pass it right by. We don't want it. It takes up too much space
Too
on the
much
truck. We
space
didn't get paid.
and not enough money. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Th- I had a question about that because metals are big, they're sometimes heavy, but and they take up a lot of space. When you have a metal, would you want to keep it in the state that you have it, or at some point in time, would you want to melt it down so it can get smaller and have it like a coin or a desk ornament or something like that? Because sometimes people do stuff like that to hold their gold or silver. W-
Sure. So, I mean, it all depends on the category of metal you're talking, right? So, if we're talking with precious metals, um, your safest, your biggest enemy besides theft with your metals is actually house fire. Your typical house fire can get about 2,000 degrees. Some, with more serious cases, can get upwards of 3,000 degrees. I highly recommend if you do have precious metals, I have some myself, is to get yourself a nice
Wow.
strong box of safe that is temperature rated for at least 1,800 degrees.
Wow. So
Yeah,
people lose their metals in fires because it breaks their melting point.
correct. Oh, yeah, I've seen witness to it, and I've talked to a lot of firefighters, and you'll be astonished at when
Wow.
firefighters get into homes to get the fires done. And, some safes, and the placement of your safe matters too. You want to put it, if you do have a basement, put it in the furthest corner um, towards your sub pump to the corner of your house. You
Okay.
want it at the very corner of your house, away from all your utilities, because what happens is with your typical water heater or your typical furnace has a gas line. If that gas line's compromised, now you have all this gas shooting into your house with flames on it. So you basically have a flame torch right on your strong box. You don't want that.
Yeah.
You want your strong
Wow.
box opposite of your utilities in the corner of your house where it has the most accessibility. So if a firefighter does come into your house or they do breach it, it's that serious of a fire, you those contents are retrievable. And yeah, there's been strong boxes that have melted through, and the gold, the money, and certificates all melt together.
Mm.
The fine mess right there. So, and then also if you get a strong box, and of course the higher the protection on it, like the higher the safety rating is for heat, you're going to get that much more condensation in your strong box. So you want to get those silica gel packs, out of your shoes and out of your pill bottles and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and collect those because those absorb moisture. And you'll want to open your strong box at the minimum 3 times a year to let air in and to let moisture out, so to preserve the
Wow.
contents. So yeah, so those would be my recommendations for your precious metals. As
Yeah.
far as your base metals, um, there's some guys that
Such as
would
base metals, such as.
so going from copper to brass, right on down the line to aluminum, right on down to regular light metal.
Okay.
Um, and those would be more or less your regular base metals being your everyday metals.
Yes.
Those They don't particularly need extraordinary storage. Obviously, you want to keep it out of sight from other people. People that know to go and raid other people's yards. I've heard it. I knew one kind of infamous scrapper last year. They broke into his yard, stole about three, maybe $4,000 worth of metal.
Damn.
Yeah, so I can tell you with mine, I have two garages. They're in very safe locations. One's an indoor, one's an outdoor. And with the outdoor stuff, I'll tarp it. A, so prying eyes don't see. And B, you do have bare bright. Now, a lot of guys are like, okay, what are the differences for certain metals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like extruded aluminum and stuff like that. And I'll give
Yeah.
a very brief explanation on everything.
Okay.
So with bare bright copper, the reason why it's bare bright, during the smelting process of it, they add a particular chemical so that the copper doesn't patina.
Is that the
Patina,
sheen that you see on the metal?
correct. So when
Okay.
you peel a nice piece of wire and it has that nice, like, rose kind of red type of hue to it,
Mm-hmm.
that's the bare bright.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right
the
there.
good
Yep.
stuff.
I can see it right down in my head. Yep. 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 I know what you're talking about.
Right.
Yep.
And that stuff has a particular chemical to help ward off any patina or corrosion to the metal.
Okay,
So
so
if
it'll
you
help it
approach,
also not rust.
correct. Well, with non-ferrous metal, there's no rusting. So rusting is only indicative to ferrous metal, to iron.
To iron.
Um,
Okay.
Iron rusting is the actual oxidation.
The
The metal's
oxidation. Yeah, I was just
oxidizing.
about to ask about that. Yeah.
Correct.
Is that
Um,
from the moisture in the air?
well, I mean moisture. Period.
Moisture period.
Any
Yeah. Yeah.
moisture, any moisture gets in contact with steel, um, unless it has been properly treated, and even with time, the treatments wear away. Rust will
Mm.
inevitably hit ferrous metal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with non-ferrous metal, aluminum, brass, copper, it's corrosion that happens. Rust is indicative to ferrous. Corrosion's indicative to non-ferrous.
I never thought of. Well, I mean, I guess I never thought about separating the two from rust and corrosion. But if you think about it, they're doing two totally different things.
Two,
Rust can
yeah,
sit, corrosion's going to eat away.
right. Well, I mean, they're both eating, right?
They're
Whether it's
oh, really?
rust
So rust is
or
eating too.
corrosion. Right. Yeah, they're both eating. So like
Mm.
corrosion is more typical to like brass because most of our fixtures are brass,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you look at a P trap underneath the sink, it's either going to be the PVC type or it's going to be brass. It's going to be tinted brass with
Mm.
zinc tincture on there.
Yeah.
And that corrodes and that will eventually rot and get eaten through. But make no mistake, rust and corrosion are one and the same in that they eat, they consume. It's just the type of metal and what the action is. So rust,
Mm. Okay,
right?
I get it.
Rust is indicative to ferrous, which is
Yes.
steel, and then corrosion is indicative to non-ferrous. So
Yeah. The type of
you know,
metal is going to give it. Yeah.
right. So in order to combat corrosion, it's good to cover up your metals. And I also cover up my metals because if there's debris, or in this case right now, snow, if snow was to fall and fall into my bins where all my metal is, they're going to pitch me a deduction.
So when you go to hand it in, how much they're going to knock you
Right.
for?
You never know. You never know. I mean, the last time they took 5 pounds off my copper, that's $20.
What's the
Um,
percent? What's the percent on that?
so I mean, it's discretionary to the yard master, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each yard master is going to have their own set rules that they follow and whatever they feel like.
Well, like
So I
let's say $100. Like let's say you got like $100. Like out of that $100, how much would they tax you for like rusted or corroded metal?
it really not a they really typically won't unless they're just going to be like
Well, if even if it's $1,000, like I'm just trying to understand like how much like is like are they going to take like a percent off or is it like a 5% or 10% tax?
that's the beauty about these yards. They kind of make up some of the rules pounds as they go.
Oh snap,
And
that's
so it
crazy.
all depends. Yeah, it all depends on the load you bring and
Okay.
what is the tariff or what is the issue with the metal, right? So
Yeah.
like,
So if you're always
um,
patronizing them or something like that, and like once in a while you might okay, they might be like, "Ah, I got you" or something, or they won't hit you as hard.
yeah, it all really depends on your relationship and what's
Yeah.
going
Okay.
on. So to give you an example, and this really made me mad, um, not this storm that passed, the one previous,
Hmm.
I had maybe about 600 pounds of ferrous, some light iron, and I did have snow in the back of the truck. Now, I didn't anticipate that they would take a tariff on it, that they would take a deduction on it,
You
but
gotta be
my
careful
thing
with that
is,
word. Whoa, you gotta be careful using that word to a trader, man. You gotta. That word is like the F word and the N word had a baby with the N word that's over in
they got
Europe.
together and had a big. I get it. I super get it.
Yeah.
But a tariff, um, it's a part of life
Yeah.
with metal. A
Yeah.
deduction is a part of life.
Hmm.
And one thing I will say, and it's no stranger. A lot of people know, but don't really pay attention. Is you got to control the tariffs. You got to control the tariff. When you come and let's say you have 50 pounds of copper, just something small, little keepsake. But then you put it in that bin. I mean, there's been times I'm like, put the bin on the scale. I want to see exactly how much that bin weighs
Yeah. You
because
want to tear it out. Yeah.
I want to control every fraction of deduction and tariff. Because at the end of the day, as I want to finish this whole anecdote, as I was saying before,
Hmm.
it influences every transaction. So, like I said before, I had 600 pounds of light iron. And like I said, I anticipated the deduction. I did. However, and this is for everybody out there, I keep those yards honest and accountable. I don't let them get anything over on me, and I don't put anything over on them. And this way, our transaction is above board, and they respect me for it, and I respect them for it. But where they stepped out of line is that they just pitched their own deduction. They pitched their own tariff, which was 100 pounds. And so when I came back around, I saw my ticket. They knocked off 100 pounds. So instead of having 600 pounds of light, I only had 500 pounds.
Oh, and that's the percent right there I was looking for.
Right. And now it could be different on any load depending on the situation.
But that's a big fucking tax right there. That's 15%.
More than that. You know what I'm saying? You're going from 600 pounds to 500 pounds.
To five.
That that that's like a 20%
Yeah,
almost.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
like
Damn near
17%.
20% hit. Yeah.
Right. And my thing is, you have to announce your move. Imagine that we go into a shop, right, and then we go pick up something. Let's say we go pick up a jug of iced tea and it's $4, right? And then we ring it up, and then all of a sudden they're asking for 5.50 or $6.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not right. You're gonna be like, hey, I need to see a manager. This is, that's why stuff gets left behind because it's mislabeled. And so I was like, look, we need to have a conversation about it because if you said to me, look, I got to pitch you a deduction, and you say, all right, 100 pounds, I could still counter and say, listen, how about 50 pounds, which would have been much more reasonable. Or I could say, you know what, never mind it, I'm going to take my business elsewhere.
Yeah.
And
Just
this
don't
is
take
why,
it and then give you a slip and be like, well, that's that. You're getting paid.
right, when I already dumped my material.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's why, I say I am a purveyor. And, there's always this argument of it's a privilege to come into the yard, and I remind some of the people who do the production in the yard and run the yard. I'm like, look,
Mm-hmm.
you're not the only business in town. Don't fool yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? So you might think you hold all the cards, but at the end of the day, while I have this platform, because I was talking to this to a couple of people, fact of the matter is, if there was a coalition, if there was a scrap coalition, And we all got together and we said we're going to hold every stitch of copper for 1 month. For 1 month, there's no copper hitting any scrap yards anywhere on the East Coast. If a movement like that was to happen,
Mm-hmm.
guess what? There'd be a lot of change. A lot of change. More change than you can ever even imagine.
Who regulates the price of copper?
Well, that is a fantastic question. And so I'm still trying to get to the bottom of it, honestly, myself.
Mm.
But basically, what I can tell you right now, right? Let's just use copper as an example.
Okay.
So I haven't looked at the markets today, but just from off the hip assessment, I'm wagering copper is about 520 a pound on the market.
Okay.
Maybe more. Maybe more. Right? We're just going to use this as an example.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
just go with five. Let's just go with 520 right now.
Okay.
It's close enough. It's probably more on the open market today. At the yard, you're only going to get four and change. That's a good amount of money for anybody to come up on and say, okay, I'm going to buy this from you at four, and I'm going to put this out there at 520.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just a very loose example. I'm sure the
Very
gap is a
loose
lot bigger
example.
on that.
Oh my
A lot
God.
bigger on that. Yes. So what I can tell you is that I can't use any names, but there's a very I won't say famous, but well-known
Mm-hmm.
scrapyard in Pennsylvania that I go to that gives really great
Mm.
prices.
In Philly or
That
Jersey?
company, it's in Philly. It's in the peninsula of the
Mm.
town. But I can tell you, just, this metal game is not far off of Rockefeller and oil. There are only maybe four families in the world that really truly have control of all the metal going on.
Dude, trillions of dollars were just wiped from the
So,
market cap of gold and silver. Three times the market cap of all the cryptos was wiped from gold today within like the last couple hours.
I
Like,
mean,
there's serious money, like trillions of dollars. Like, this little bit of money that I made was nothing,
yeah,
nothing
it's,
compared to
I
what they're
mean,
doing out there.
yeah, a lot of people don't, and that's the thing, right? A lot of people might have an idea about the depth of metal,
Yeah.
or, they're like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of money in it. It holds money just like oil, just like coffee, just like
Mm.
orange juice. They're all commodities and they all control a lot of money. If to just give you an idea of how profound that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You take a look at coffee. I mean, if we could just get a number on the cups of coffee consumed in the United States alone in one day, I bet you people wouldn't even come close.
Starbucks just had a blowout year when it comes to like the revenue and everything. I think they triple beat on everything.
Right, right. I mean, people can put a number of millions,
Mm-hmm.
and I still think they'd be short on a cup of coffee consumed by Americans in one day.
In one day, yeah,
We're talking 50 million.
yeah,
you know, and that's a number that people can't wrap their heads around, especially when you look at it in terms of a day by day basis.
that's
Now,
capitalism, baby.
right now, transfer that to metal. You're talking that these yards are bringing in. Uh, so I know from one yard that I frequent.
Mm.
When I ask them, because they have big trucks that come in on the weekly and pick up
Sheesh,
their metal, you
sheesh.
know, we're talking we're talking double digit, if not triple digit, gross tonnage coming from
Gross
one.
tonnage.
Yes, gross tonnage.
Mm. Of
Not
of
just
of a
talking about
metal.
of a metal. Yes. And
Shit.
there might be days when trucks come two or three times in that yard in a day.
What?
And we're talking,
Are these construction sites?
well, they're metal yards.
No, 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 no. I mean the people bringing in the metal.
Um, well, I mean, people bringing in the metal. Oh, so what happens is, so the process goes is that let's just take Joe Schmo scrapyard.
Okay.
Once they get enough of a pile, they'll call in and they'll call in from their um, actual trucking company. So every scrapyard's going to have their own trucking service.
Okay.
And they'll come in and they'll be like, hey, we got approximately this much. Send in one truck, and then maybe 3 hours later, send in another. Let's just say they have 150,000 gross tons,
Mhm.
which is a nice weight. Your average 53 footer, um, dump style 18 wheeler, every truck caps off at 80,000 pounds.
Mhm.
That's the most you can carry. That's the most your truck in the gross weight can move with by law.
Mhm.
So your average 18 wheeler, somewhere 17 to 22,000 pounds. So they're putting in 50 to 60,000 pounds into these trucks. There are days where two of these trucks, sometimes three of these trucks leave the yard. You can do the math.
Oh my
It's a lot of weight.
God.
It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight. I was just watching a program the other day on the cruise ship SS France. Now, this is a cruise ship.
Mhm.
And before it was revitalized, before it was brought and revitalized, the
Yeah.
fun fact of this cruise ship, and it was the biggest of its time, in scrap value, just the ship was worth $18 million
Oh my goodness.
in raw metal.
In raw metal.
If you could take a massive crane, they don't have a crane big enough. It would probably take 5 sea cranes to lift this type of ship. And you were to take it and put it on something that could carry it into the scrapyard. Say, here, I want to sell you this whole ship. We'll give you 18 million. It's a lot of metal. It's a lot of metal. And that's just one ship.
Mhm.
So I say all these things to get people to understand because when we as scrappers move metal, we see it in the realms of our trucks, right? Whether we have an F-250, whether we have a stake body dump,
Mhm.
whether we have a moving truck, a 28 footer,
Yeah.
we always see the metal in that terms. We rarely ever sit back and say, this is what the metal looks like on a global scale. It's massive. It's almost unfair.
Hmm.
And this is why I've always had the conversation as scrappers, we should coalesce, get together, and I'm telling you, if you choked off copper for 1 month, guess what? You would get the world's attention. At
Mm.
that point, things would change a lot.
Is
You
is
know,
is is copper one of the leading laggers when it comes to the metals?
oh no, I mean this is like the workhorse, you know. And see, here's the thing, right? This is why even with the things that are happening with gold, with silver, and everything
Mhm.
that's happening with the metal, I'm more at rest than I've ever been. Is that since we as the U.S. are now making our own steel, we
Mhm.
actually have a company that's making semiconductors. We are making our own products out of metal. There's going to be a need for it. And now that technology has been doing this ramp up, we need metals more than ever now.
When was that
Because
semiconductor built in America? Do you know when?
when the first one was,
Yeah.
I don't know.
1 year, 2 year ago?
Um, I say well within 2 years.
Oh, 2 years? Okay.
Well within this administration.
So the other
And
ones
that's
are on his way then.
I don't know if another company is going to take that number, right? Because what's happening with making our own metal and making our own semiconductors, there is this massive concession, right? So when you look at Taiwan or you look at like Japanese steel, Nippon steel,
Mhm.
what they're paying their workers is so low, we can't compete with that, right? So you're
Mm.
looking at places where and I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, so you look at like Taiwan, their semiconductors. I would venture that any one of their people in that lab is probably getting minimum wage in comparison to your regular American worker. They're not getting paid spectacular money.
Mm,
Meanwhile, you bring this industry into our backyard, our people are like, hey, we're not going to get paid $2 an hour.
yeah,
We want our regular wages.
yeah. And we need
Right,
insurance, and we need
right,
benefits,
right.
and we want a union.
You can keep it going.
Keep it going. Yeah.
You can keep it going. There's a lot of needs.
A lot of
You
needs.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
right. And so with that, there's a growing pain of like, we want to bring back this manufacturing to our country, but there's all these extra bills to pay. And so there's a growing pain. But to get to the crux of why I'm saying why I'm not sweating any of the changes, the technology wave is going strong. It's not stopping.
No,
You get what I'm saying?
no, not at all. It's a big circle right now. Companies are buying into other companies and feeding into other companies, and a lot of these companies need silver, and that's why there's a choke point right now because
And,
there's silver on paper, but not the physical.
right. And so that's the whole thing right now is that there's still this big need that's not going to disappear. That's real. The demand is out of control. That's what
Yes,
it is.
yes, yes.
You know? And so now what's also happening is that you're making technology that is a lot more comprehensive and a lot more resource needed. What do I
It
mean
needs the
by that?
metals. It needs
It
the
needs
copper. It
the
needs gold.
metals, right? If you want to go from megabyte storage to terabyte storage, you're going to need more metal,
Yep, yep.
you
And
know?
that's the
And
problem that's going on right now with the supply chain. In the supply
so,
chain.
so the fact of the matter is, meanwhile, these prices are up and down and they're volatile. Guess what? They're going to stay up for a while. Why? Because we need it. We need the draw. We need the money to say, hey, look, we're paying $200 an ounce on silver now. And then all of a sudden, guess what? I guarantee you, if you see a swing like that, you're going to see some metal flood the market. You know, when
Would
price gets
you?
high, go ahead.
I'm I'm sorry. Finish that thought. And
Oh no, I was saying if silver got to that point where it was $200-300 an ounce, guess what? I'm going into my safe and I'm taking out some.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Um,
that's
at that, if it gets to that point, out of let's say out of the 100% that you have, um, how would you get rid of it? In quarters, in 10%, and like,
so I was actually uh, halfway smart when I purchased some of the metal that I purchased. I just wish I went all the way and purchased more. That was the problem.
wow,
So
wow,
what I did was
what a statement.
the gold. So the gold that I would keep is the monetary gold. Um, the coins they not only have melt value, but they have intrinsic value to it.
Melt value. What is that?
So melt value. So let's just say you took um, a Morgan dollar, right?
Hmm.
A Morgan dollar is roughly about an ounce. It's like like 0.97 ounces. It's almost a full troy ounce. It's and that's the thing too. I'm trying to understand the difference between a regular ounce and a troy
In
ounce.
a
My
troy ounce.
understanding is
Yeah, I'm
that
hearing a lot
a
about
troy
troy
ounce
ounces. Yeah.
is indicative to coins, but those Morgan dollars are like zero point zero 0.02 off a full complete ounce.
Hmm.
Whether it's through the manufacturing, whether it's through, and that's why they have those grading systems, right? Not only, if you have an MS-70 coin, it's perfect. One of the things is there's no wear. You could take your thumb and rub it over a coin. Through time, it's going to take away some of the weight of the coin.
Mm.
just the pristine nature of the coin. There's the actual true gross weight of the coin.
Are we talking gold
Which
here? Are we talking gold or silver?
we're talking both.
Both. Okay. Okay.
Because when you go and the grading system, you have MS 70, which is perfect.
Mm.
In the
That's
world of
solid.
coins.
That would be considered solid gold. That would be that statement.
Well, it wouldn't even be so much solid gold. I'm using the MS grading system
Okay.
in reference to coins,
Okay.
and that's more in reference to the condition of the coin.
Condition
Now, a
of the
lot of
coin itself.
people,
Okay.
yeah, the actual condition,
Like a
yeah,
card. Yeah.
right, exactly like that. A lot of people, sleep on the fact that if you have a poorly conditioned coin, it is going to be, even though it's only going to be like fractions of a gram difference, that still matters. You have
Wow.
a coin that doesn't even register on the MS, right? And then you have a coin that's a perfect true MS 70. I bet you if you weigh both of those coins, they're not going to weigh the same.
That MS 70 gonna be a lot heavier.
Correct. So besides the condition of the coin, the weight of the coin is affected as well.
So when these
So
coins are constructed, are you mixing other metals with them, or are
no. Well, so what happens is that every coin is a little bit different, right?
okay?
Um, the majority of your gold and silver coins are going to land in a state where they're about 70% of the actual metal, right? So if you have a Morgan, um, they're going to land about 70% silver,
So is that
right?
where that 70 come from? The Morgan 70?
No, that's a whole different concept.
Oh, okay, okay, okay,
It's a whole different concept.
okay.
Now, there's some coins that are like 90% silver. And this is where the value
Mm.
of coins really come into play. Not every silver coin is absolutely the same. Like there's like your Morgan dollar is like the flagship of coins, right?
Mm-hmm.
It retains the most silver in there. Um, they retain their value beautifully.
Wow.
Your average Morgan is going to be about $38 a coin, where it was $1 at one point.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. So it's like that coin now would be interesting to take into a shop, right?
Oh my
Because
gosh.
they're
With
going
today's
to
prices.
categorize it as an ounce. You're going to get paid as an ounce, but is that intrinsic value beating the melt? The melt is actual metal value of the coin.
Uh-huh.
So if you had a 1 ounce coin, whatever the value is, if you're calling it $70 an ounce today for silver, that's the melt value.
Oh, so when we're looking at the silver trust value, that's what we're looking at?
I've not seen with my own two eyes how a silver trust works. I
Y-
don't know how they grade off it. All I
Okay.
can tell you, I'm more knowledge on the actual physical
Yes.
nature of the coin itself.
Yes. Yes.
But
This is paper.
when you
Yeah.
go into a jewelry store or a coin store and they talk about melt, like this is melt value, that's
Uh-huh.
the actual raw value of the weight of the coin.
Because
Is
because
raw.
that goes up though, right? Like that value goes up, and I'm thinking if that value is linked with this, because you're saying it can go up to 200 a mil, like so is I'm just trying to see or wonder if those true. I'm just trying to match it up with the paper. That's all. That's all.
Yeah, well, intrinsic value and melt value, they usually differ. It's
Hmm.
very rare that they're one and the same. But back to the original question, if I was to go into my safe today and make a play, so I had bought bullions of silver. I bought a pound's worth, and I kept that. Originally, I bought the metal I bought just for a doomsday situation.
Hmm.
If I need to buy bread or I need to buy water, or I need to barter, I have something I can barter with. And that was my original intention. I never intended for it to be an actual play later on down the road.
Or a
But
store of value? Did you in the back of your head was a part of it like, okay, this can also be a store of value rather
well, I
than
mean, it always could be. You
yeah.
know, I mean, when I spoke, I had a good friend Mike. He introduced me to the precious metals and kind of gave me was kind of like my Sherpa in a way to
Mhm.
guide me to good deals and how to tell what's what. And his thing because he dabbles a lot more. He does the active buying, selling, and trading of the metals, whereas I just
Mm.
bought it to just put down for a rainy day. But it's not out of my realm right now to say, okay, you know what, I might make a play if it's good enough.
Yeah.
Um, the whole problem is the more hands it touches, the less I make. So it's a thing of like if I go to my normal store, let's say I go to a coin store,
Mhm.
so it goes from my hand to that owner's hands. Then it goes from the owner's hands, and then let's just say he has another connect. And it almost like drugs. The more hands it touches, the more the price gets stomped on. Is what happens.
Yeah.
So my thing is, if the price is good enough, I would first go to the first store that I kind of cut my tooth on and go have a conversation with him and then see where I end up.
Yeah.
Because I still trust him. He still knows my name. Um, I'd still be willing to make a deal with him. But the juice would have to be worth the squeeze, right?
Mhm.
So let's just say,
Juice gotta be worth the squeeze. Yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let's say that it's 200 an ounce on the market, for some silver. Let's just say it
Mhm.
popped all the way up there.
Yeah.
By the time I'm going to see anything, it might be like, if I'm lucky, 170
Okay.
that I might get in my hands, maybe 150.
Okay.
I'm going to
Ooh,
take a chop. I'm
that's
not
some
going to get
slippage.
what
Yeah.
people are going to get on the market.
Yeah.
So that would have to really be that. But I would make a play at my bullion first, and I would keep the coinage for last because the intrinsic value, you just can't, you can't, it's just, there's no words for it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I had a blue stamp dollar bill. So your blue stamp dollar bills are backed by silver. Your red stamp dollar bills are backed by gold.
I didn't even
So
heard of
every
this money
yeah,
before. God damn.
yeah, right. A lot of people don't see it, and it pays dividend. Another little tidbit: if you go into a bank, and I would do this now because this is going to disappear as tellers or as banks are changing their policies.
Mhm.
You're not going to see as many dollar bills as you do now.
Dollar
So
bills? Are you serious? Well, they're
I
taking pennies off the market.
Right. I mean, the whole thing of it is that everything happens slowly, right?
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to necessarily happen in our lifetime, but it might. Technology moves that fast.
Facts.
But when I go into banks, I will ask them, I'm like, do you have any blue or red star bills?
Blue. Hold on. Or red star bills.
So
Okay.
when you look on your normal dollar bill or 5 or 20,
Mhm.
if you're looking at the face of it,
Mhm.
on the right side, there's a stamp, usually a green stamp.
Yeah, right there. I'm looking at
Hmm.
it.
Sometimes they're blue and sometimes they're red.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so you'll know that, 'cause I'm telling you, the blue ones are backed by silver, the red ones are backed by gold.
Get the fuck out of here. How much do they cost?
So basically, they're 10 times the face value.
Damn.
Yeah. So if you see a dollar that has a blue stamp, it could be worth $10 and vice versa. And now I'm here to tell you that at one point, so if you look out, there's a 1934 $1 bill that is minted out of Denver. Now I have the one minted, I want to say Philly,
Mhm.
but the one minted out of Denver, it has a particular watermark on it.
Mhm.
And that bill, That bill is worth a half a bill.
What? This is a wait. And what denomination is this?
It is a 1934 $1 bill, blue
One
stamp,
dollar bill.
blue stamp. And this is why it's so good to hold on to your money because you got to know what you have.
Gotta
And
know what
you'll
you
never
have
know what you have until you do the research.
until you know. Until you know.
Right. And then just as well, where it's minted and the things, all these things matter.
Where it's
Where
minted matters.
right, whether it's Denver, whether it's Philly. I think we have three mints here. I know there's a Denver, I know there's a Philly, there's another one. And all that matters. I mean, if you can get your hand, I'm looking right now, the Omega penny. The Omega penny is like gonna be the holy grail. If you can get that penny, your family's gonna be set.
Omega penny.
It's the last of the last. So they've made regular 2025 pennies,
Mm-hmm.
but they've also made Omega 2025 pennies. They actually have an Omega stamp in the penny. When you look at Lincoln's face on the back,
Mm-hmm.
towards the left side, there's an Omega. And they actually made the proof gold. So there's a gold proof that coin. And they only made one. And I can't even imagine the value on it because it's solid gold and it's approved and it's the last penny made for this country.
Well, where did it go?
Yeah,
Did they say, all right, we're just gonna randomly send it to a random state? Good luck to the person who get it. We're only gonna mint this one, and this is what it is, and then put it
no,
off random? That's crazy.
yeah, no, I don't know who has that one singular gold penny, but I can only imagine they had to do some things to get it. But even if you get a regular Omega penny, there's only so many made.
Yeah.
You get that, you have a piece of, you know, history Americana, you know.
Wow.
But that's the beauty behind holding um coins.
Holding
Like,
assets,
yeah,
it's important to hold assets.
yeah. I mean, as we talked before, and I come back to this because now I have a chance where there's a forum. I have a voice right now. Is that it all comes back to your platform. What I was saying.
Hmm.
And that's just another brick in the castle of your platform. The bigger and stronger and better your platform is, the more you can be heard, the more you're related, and more importantly, when your platform is that built, when you're standing on a platform like Jay Z, or you're standing on a platform like I don't
Yeah, yeah,
Obama,
yeah, 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 yeah.
you know, what happens is policies, regulations, and laws are changed by those who are on big platforms. The bigger your platform is, the more influence and the more resources you have, bar none.
Yeah, facts. More people you know. It's a big people
You
thing.
know, but I mean, the platform to itself, could be your brand. It could be how you run things. Like, God has been good to me. Jesus has been good to me. I have a platform where if people are like, you know what, we don't want to hire you or we don't want to do this with you or whatever, no problem.
Yeah,
I'm still make my money. I'm still
yeah,
live.
yeah,
I'm great.
yeah,
No problem.
yeah.
You
Um,
know,
Speaking of platforms and ownerships and everything, what part of the business would you mind getting into long term when it comes to purveying and everything? Would you want to own a scrapyard or recycling center or something? Or
I would do it. I would do it two ways, or one of two ways, or maybe both. But these are the two ways I would go about things, and I plan to for the future.
mm,
Um, Number one, cleanouts. It's a very saturated market,
mm-hmm.
but the things I've seen come out of homes, there's just too many chances to get a hold of precious things. Just
Yeah,
like that whole adage, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah.
I've seen it with my own two eyes.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I would do that other um, clean out guys, some do,
Mm-hmm.
others don't, but I would sign people to I take possession of the contents of said property.
Yeah.
You want me to clean it out? I know that there's a handful of people that do it, but it's not done enough.
Mm-hmm.
And there's literal treasures. There's literal cash and freezers. There's literal holes inside of a closet.
Yeah.
There's literal bankfuls in people's clothes that are forfeited because there's not correct documentation behind the clean out.
Mm.
And I'm not going to put names out there, but you know him. Your dad works with him.
Yeah.
And, he did a clean out where I told him, I was like, you need to put this under contract.
Mm.
You need to get him to sign contents over.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, you could ask Charles. He still remembers.
Yeah.
You know, I would say an easy 80 pounds of silver came out of it.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Easy.
Woo!
I managed to get my hand on a couple ounces myself.
Yeah. Woo!
Before anything was said and done.
Yeah.
I was doing the clean out even before the clean out crew came.
Yeah.
So when I stumbled upon it, I was like, wow. I gotta,
Yeah. 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 I feel. Yeah. Yeah. ASAP. 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 ASAP.
I'll just leave it at that.
ASAP. Yeah. Yeah. Keep it
The
moving.
dude that did the clean out lost out. He probably would have made more money on the contents than what the job was going to pay him.
Oh my God, that's incredible. But that's the art of the deal.
It is the art of the deal. And
People need to
that's
know
why.
how to not misspeak or get ahead of themselves. Take a step back and evaluate the situation and tread lightly. There's going to be a time to run, but before you start, moving, know what you're getting into.
Well, it's like like I said to you before, you got to know what you got.
You gotta know what you got.
And the beautiful things about clean outs, it's very, 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 very bare bone, basic, simple.
Yeah.
All you need is the manpower and the conveyance to get the garbage out.
We're doing them, right? We're going to get into that this season.
Oh yeah, no, I get that. I get that. So, I didn't really get to the part two of it
Yeah.
because the same person that we knows, he has um, a little place where he does, the reselling, and that's brilliant. That's, that would be like the part two of the plan. Because
Yeah.
there's still good stuff that comes out that's
Absolutely.
salvaged and resold.
No, I'm not talking about with him. I'm talking about by ourselves. Because I helped my cousin. I've been helping my cousin for like the past year and a half with his business. Well, through me helping him, he was able to get a truck, and we got a really big truck. We got an old FedEx truck.
Okay.
We got an old FedEx truck. So we don't have a lift in the back, but it's an easy get in, get out. We can put stuff in it. We use it for a store, but we got in contact with someone from the Red Cross, and he manages the Red Cross, and we're going to do cleanouts. We're signed up to do cleanouts for the Red Cross when they need them. But in the meantime, I'm gonna start getting out there so we can do cleanouts for this specific reason. So it's funny you mention that because I'm definitely going to jump on that tip.
I mean, look, I've found in the couple of years that I've had out my own cleanouts, because I did do cleanouts for myself for a number of years. I
I
found
know I did them with you.
yeah,
You hired me on a couple. I remember.
poundage of silver.
Oh my
One
God.
time, I found $23,000 in bank funds.
Oh my.
Don't get excited, because I was super excited, and I had learned through the U.S. Treasury that once someone has banknotes, when they have certificates, they are deemed as a personal contract between that person and the government,
Oh
and
shit.
nothing supersedes that. So since they had the guy's name on it,
They got the
they
name
signed
on
a
it.
contract, yes, between him and the government, and I couldn't claim them, nor could his family.
Oh shit! What did the guy die or
Yeah,
something?
I don't know. I tried to catch up with the guy, couldn't catch up with him. I eventually, I don't know what I did with them. I didn't destroy them because it would have been illegal for me to destroy them. But
All
I
right,
put them on
we're gonna talk off stream about that because
yeah,
it's the internet. It's 2025. We can work out a deal.
yeah, I have no idea where the guy is. I mean,
Don't worry,
and
I'll find him.
it's no big consequence to him because as long as he has his name and social security number, they can look that up and find
Oh
the guy.
shit!
So he'll be
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. It'll be all right.
But I mean, I have a picnic basket that I found out of a clean out. Now,
Hmm.
this picnic basket, I still have it because it's
Yeah.
gorgeous. It's beautiful. When I saw it, I was like, I gotta have it. It's mine.
Ah, that's so
Right?
funny.
I had it appraised.
Yeah.
It is actually constituted as the Cadillac of picnic baskets.
No.
It has a two-level system, so you can put your cold food on the bottom and your hot food on top. It is actually big enough where when you fold the lid down, you can use it as a table. It's a beautiful picnic basket.
Yeah.
Huge. And so I love little trinkets like that. I have a bone china phrenology head. I know that thing's worth money, and they don't really make much bone china stuff anymore.
Bone
You know,
china.
yeah, yeah. And just the stuff that's out there, like what I tell people about the jade bowls. So I like to watch the antique shows every now and again because
Hmm.
you do learn stuff. And one thing I can tell you is if you find a green mineral by the name of jade, you want to hold on to it, right? So I
Jade.
always tell
I
people
heard of jade
jade.
before.
Yeah, it looks kind of like as if emerald and topaz had a baby together. Greenish, kind of like a stone. But long story short, this bowl was found, given as a gift. Then it was sold for $50. Then it was sold again for $100. Then someone took it to one of these antique shows. That bowl ended up being worth $800,000.
Sheesh.
Yeah. So it was gifted twice and sold once. I mean, and people looked at it as junk.
Do you
But
go back
and
and give money to those people who touch hands with it before you?
I didn't have it. This
No, no,
chick,
I'm not, I mean like, do
but
you?
if that was to happen to me, yeah, that's good karma. I mean, I would. Not many people would. I mean, just the other day, couple months ago, I bought a lottery ticket. I was in there playing, and this family comes in, and this little kid, he starts pointing to this one reel, and I never play this game, and he's like, "Daddy, Daddy, buy the ticket," and the dad wouldn't buy the ticket, and I said, "You
Hmm.
know what? I'm gonna listen to this kid." I bought the ticket. It was a free ticket. I bought the very next ticket. It was $20.
Sheesh.
I gave $5 to the guy,
Huh.
and I said, "You should listen to your son," right? And he laughs it off and leaves. Bro, by the time the next 8 tickets, I totaled almost $100.
Damn.
Free ticket, $10. Free ticket, $20. Just kept going.
Yeah, some good karma.
Yeah, so it's like you never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes you gotta open up a door you never opened.
Yeah.
Get something you never got. So, so clean outs are one. The second thing I would do, if I had the space, I would open up a scrap yard that just caters to copper, brass, aluminum.
Copper, brass, aluminum.
Yeah. I would do air conditioner rods. So basically, the upper end of the base metals is what I would deal with. I wouldn't deal
Okay.
with light. I wouldn't deal with cars. I wouldn't deal with any of that stuff. You could make a lot of money just opening up a nice warehouse getting a little forklift, getting a couple bins, getting a nice scale, and then you're off to the races. And you offer top premium price, just like with Sergeant Scrap. That's basically what he's doing, but he took it another level and said, "I'm gonna come to you and come buy your level at your place. Come buy your metal at your place."
That's
So
not a bad. That's a nice business prop right there because there's a lot of people that renovate and maybe they don't got time to drop off the scrap or that's
right.
a yeah.
And so, that's the only thing. Like Sergeant Scrap really took that idea and ran with it because he
Mhm.
doesn't mess. Sergeant Scrap doesn't mess with light iron and all that other stuff. He mainly just deals with um, just the upper end piece. My next thing too is to figure out how to extrapolate the precious metals out of computer parts. I really feel like that's going to be the new big trend that's coming up with metal recycling and scrapping. Um, I mean, there's so much precious metals in computer parts. I mean, you get an HDMI cable. There's a clear strand of 24 karat gold in HDMI cables.
No,
Yeah. And the more expensive the cable, the better
the
quality and the
better
bigger the
because
gauge.
it's a better
Right.
conductor.
Because that gold is literally quote unquote the gold standard for conduction of fiber optics.
Yeah. So it has to be a certain purity. So when it comes to those really good cables, you're getting really good purity
Right.
probably.
You're getting 22 karat gold.
22 carat.
Which is
Yeah, because I knew the carat
right.
system. I knew 24 isn't the purest.
Well, no, 24. Well, here's the thing. Little known fact. There's no such thing as 100% gold. It's impossible. Don't let
Okay.
nobody fool you. Right? 24 karat gold is 99% gold. 22 karat is 92 to 95%. 18,
Mmm.
18 karat gold is 65 to 75% gold. 14 karat gold is 55% gold.
So of course as the
That's how
numbers
that
start
goes.
going down.
Right. There's more impurity in there.
Yeah.
That's really what that comes down to.
Wow.
There's more impurity. There's more. I mean, at 14 karat, it's almost the alloy almost, but it's still a rich enough content.
Yeah.
Especially this day and age. But with the extraction of precious metals from computer parts, this is where I see the future going for scrapping.
Mhm.
Because the trend is with homes, all the cast irons coming out for shit pipes. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can curse on your whole thing.
It's okay. You can. I do all the
All
time.
right.
I get mad. I rage all the time.
Yeah. So your shit pipes are all cast iron. That's coming out for PVC. And then all your copper pipe, your copper tubing for your water lines, that's getting replaced by PEX.
But yeah. Yeah, Apex.
Right.
Yeah.
So the only thing in your house that has precious content are your electrical wires.
Huh.
And they're going to start replacing a lot of that too, some way, somehow. They're still playing with aluminum. The whole thing with aluminum is that when you shoot electricity through it, it becomes unstable. It actually expands. The metal expands from electricity shot through it. Um,
Mm.
but they're working on. They actually have a material that's a carbon-based material that's 3 times more conductive than copper. It's 5 times stronger than steel.
What?
Yeah,
That's
but it's so expensive to produce. No one's
mm.
heard about it. This is all army tech stuff.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as far as the houses are concerned, I mean, the furnaces and boilers, even the guts of those are changing. The other day, I pulled this one boiler out. I thought it was a toy. The thing was
Huh.
so light, and it was a boiler. And the guy explained it.
Yeah, because boilers are not. That is not a boiler.
Yeah, when he explained it, he was like, when you think about it, the only part where you need metal is the actual tube where the flame comes out, the actual burner. That's the
Yeah,
The
for
rest
the
of the
for the heat.
boiler, yeah, the rest of the boiler is foam and plastic.
Huh,
It's
but
foam and plastic.
yeah, but that kind of dumbs the quality. It's like when you get a house built, I don't want that. If I get a new house built, I don't want that. I want a fucking I want this thing to I want something sturdy. I don't want no styrofoam and just a little bit of
You're
metal for my,
you're I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And I'm much more of a fan of stick building versus modular, even though they swear that it's just as strong.
mm,
When it comes to heat, I love radiant heat. I love cast iron radiators.
cast iron, yeah.
Um,
Yep.
you'll be sweating. You have to open up a window. It's such good heat, and this moist, this humid, neat heat. It keeps you warm. You're not going to be cold. You got a big old chunk of metal in your room that's
Y-
spitting off steam.
That's what I
You
have.
can't beat it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. You're sweating.
Yeah, all the
And,
time.
and right, and I love that heat. But
Yeah.
guess what? They've already done the math. If you want a house, then this is what it's going to come with. And if you want to pay for it, then you could pay to get the original boiler with the cast iron radiators and all that, and you'll pay dearly. And that's the way they figure it. Because right now, when it comes to real estate, they've already done the math. The line between the have and have-nots has already been formed many, many years ago. And if you look at the trends of real estate, and this is the next step I kind of want to talk about, is the real meat and potatoes behind the metal game is to take that money and put it into another thing that makes you more money.
Yeah.
And not every scrapper has the wherewithal or has the ability to do that, but that's what I've done.
It's the same. I think it's like that with every business. There's just levels that people don't see or they don't want to aspire to, or they don't understand. Like it can be a lot of different reasons, but for someone that's climbing and going, I think for any step towards success is levels. It's never just one
Right,
straight path. You gotta travel,
right,
you traverse, you gotta duck, you gotta jump, you gotta you gotta do some
right,
shit.
right.
Yeah,
No, absolutely, absolutely. So with that regards, seeing and doing the rip outs and doing the demos, and then seeing how new structures are built or what the trends are with that. What's happening? Because even though the population's decreasing, there's still a need for homes. The baby boomers are coming out, the Gen X's, they're needing jobs. There's still this increasing need for independence and homes. And the way that they're doing multi-level, multi-unit homes. They're no longer
McMansions,
doing, yeah, they're no longer doing standalones.
standalones. Yep,
Standalone
McMansions.
homes are like almost borderline a thing of the past.
Yep,
They're doing 12 units,
yep.
24 units, all into a tight space.
Oh, yep.
You get
Small
your little
space.
box,
Yep.
right? You get your box, you get your living room, your kitchen, your bathroom, your bedroom. That's what you got. Boom. That's it.
If you got a front yard, a side yard, but you better keep that.
Oh, look, it's a bonus.
You better keep that.
And that's the thing. I think that eventually, people are going to see the value behind having a standalone, and things are going to shift. But for now, the way I see it, um, these homes, they're going to be made out of different material. They're doing it already, where the home wraps um, are these weird type of mold-resistant barriers that really insulate, almost make your home like a styrofoam cooler in a way, so that it
Mm.
keeps the heat in when it's cold
When it's cold,
outside,
yeah,
and it keeps the cold inside when it's hot outside.
yeah. That's
And so
just
that
insulation. That's real good
right,
insulation. That's the purpose of
yeah,
insulation. That's what it does.
right. But they're doing it in a different way now.
Oh, a
Instead
different
of
way now.
really, like so back in the day they had the bat, the bat
The
insulation
bats,
and
yeah.
what they would call the rotten cotton.
Mm.
And they're still doing that. But now they're going from that to spray foam. And now they're going from spray foam to this new exterior wrap. And this new exterior wrap has the foam on it with the wrap, and they just slap it on against the home, put the siding up, and that's that.
Really?
Yeah. So the art of home building is changing, and because of that, the materials changing, and because of that, the metal is going from being inside of homes to being inside of our computers.
That's crazy because now they're using wood. They're not even using full wood. They're using compressed wood.
Right, exactly. Paralams.
That's
Paralams.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, they're using manufactured wood,
Yeah.
engineered wood, as they call it. And so because they're engineering all these things, like I said, I can see where scrapping is going to take a turn. I even have a lot of my HVAC guys. We have the conversation because what's happening is that the A coils. So
Hmm.
the A coils is where basically the furnace air passes through to give you hot or cold. Those A coils are going back to aluminum. And what that means really is that the scrapper's not going to get a lot of money out of it. And the home use is changing because the chemical inside of the refrigerant that they're using is changing a lot too. It's gone from R22 to uh, R410, then from 410 to R32, then from R32 it's gone to something else. And this has all been well within the last 8 years.
Wow.
So again, because the materials are changing, the uses are going to change, and the metal is going to go from one place to another.
Well, the thing about the metal too is, we can't. I don't know if we can create silver for the purposes that they need it for. Maybe they can make. Yeah, well, I mean, if they can make an alternative that does the same thing and cheaper, then silver wouldn't be, that big of a deal. But or gold. So they have. So the thing is with the miners is they say it takes up to 13 years to get a mining operation up and running. That doesn't even talk about profitability, just to start to get the stuff out of the ground. So with all these different miners, it takes a while. And if these different companies bought up the supply, now they got to dig and to build that supply back up. So that's just creating more supply chain constraints.
Yeah, I mean that's a piece of it, and this is why the recycling is such a big topic right now because it's like rather than to take all these years to start up a mining company, why not take the resources that we already have and reinstitute them?
Well, what about a
And
recycling center?
well, I mean that's the whole thing, right? And again, everything is all new
Yeah.
that is happening because
It's a
again,
new
like
world. AI is truly changing up everything.
yeah,
Everything.
yeah, really. I mean, technology is really changing up everything because, like I said, now instead of people breaking into homes to get copper wire and copper piping, soon it's going to be a thing of, oh, how can we get a hold of these laptops and these phones so that we can scrap them?
That's funny.
So the game is going to change. It's not going to change rapidly for right now, but when it changes again, it is going to be sudden because I mean, the move and the drive to change materials, salvage materials for other resources.
Yeah.
I think that's just going to really, really be the big move.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys now. There's one guy in Pensacola, and I've been trying to find him again because he was around, and then he kind of disappeared, and he resurfaced. I bought all my computer stuff to him,
Hmm.
and I did very well.
Hmm.
You know,
So when you do cleanouts, or when you did cleanouts, did you ever come across a lot of computer components?
no, there were two times way back in my earlier career, and that's the thing, right? It's like when I think about it, um, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, there was a different need. There was a different there was a different
Mm.
demand, right? So
Mm-hmm.
computer parts weren't all people's focus. They weren't. But now that we're producing semiconductors, we're doing stuff with steel, we're doing these big strides of technology. Now computers are on people's radar. So to answer your question, there was this company called Ram Communications in South Jersey, and they were folding, and I had a clean out to do. And they were like, take anything and everything. They're like, we don't care. We're emptying out everything.
Wow.
With a dumpster, or you can have it.
Wow.
And I mean, it
Was this
was
up on
nice.
Woodhaven?
No, this was in Jersey.
Oh, Jersey.
This was
Oh,
in
okay.
Jersey. Yeah, this was in Jersey. And I mean, I'm sorry. And again, it's like, hindsight's 2020, and
Facts.
I didn't have the resources. But see, if I would have taken that stuff and I would have had let's say I had an acre, and
Mm-hmm.
I put a nice shed on there, and I saved all that stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
turned it in today, I might not be sitting here talking to you.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
might be I might be on a real sunny place.
Yeah, man, you damn near in the sunny place. You damn near there. You technically there right now. You just chilling, right? You just doing right now. You.
The thing
Shit.
about it, man, is that this gap, man,
Yeah,
the gap between the have and have nots,
yeah,
because it has come to that chapter in the world, in the book of the world. We're at that chapter in have nots.
yeah.
Um, and that gap getting wider. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we really have to think about trends now, because what was crap today could be valuable tomorrow.
You know, a lot of what you say, and even when we were talking last night, I didn't tell you at that time, but it relates a lot to trading. Like
Yeah,
so much of what you're saying.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And all of it's relevant. All of it's relevant.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
biggest concern is that and this is my own personal concern, but
Mm-hmm.
it's something that I think is relevant for everybody. Is that you can see here, and let's just say, you're doing all right. You're doing all right. Let's say you're
Yeah,
earning $5 grand a month.
yeah,
You're doing all right,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
In a couple of years, that's not going to be enough.
It's just yeah,
Not going to be enough.
yeah. When you hit a
And
threshold, yeah,
it's so sad to sit here and then think about, there's people in other countries that they don't even know when their next meal's coming.
yeah,
But we're over here looking at 5 grand, and we're like, oh, we're doing okay, we're doing great. It's like you're really not.
yeah.
You're one tragedy away
One,
from ending up like those people, who don't have an next meal.
yeah, yep, yep.
And so
One
that's
easily one tragedy away. You know, you got to
yeah,
be so careful.
yeah, and so that's really my biggest concern now. So it's like, my biggest thing is just making sure, what does it look like every month?
Yeah.
What does it look like every month? But I think the trends and the new things that are coming,
Mm-hmm.
as long as people are aware and insightful about it, there's a lot of opportunity to make money. But it's just, you got to look at the trends. The trends speak for
You
themselves,
got to pay attention.
and the trends move the money.
Yeah, yeah.
The trends
And
move the
don't
money.
fight the trend. You know,
No,
like when it comes
no,
to
no,
trading,
no, no, no. You gotta
if the
embrace it.
thing is going down, don't be trying to counter trend and buy a call for it to go up. The bitch is going down. You might as
Right,
well you get off the train and watch that bitch, but don't try and go against it because this thing is moving whether you're on or not.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Whether you're
But
on or not, you're
you
participating
know,
or not.
yeah. But these trends with how metal's going and everything like that, um, what is new, what we're going to be doing as far as manufacturing, because like I said, the administration right now really wants to bring business back to America, and
Yeah.
it's for the best, because we need those jobs.
Yes.
You know, but
And we
don't be
need paying
fooled.
jobs because Detroit, when Detroit got hurt, oh my God, the whole
Right.
country felt that shit.
It, yes, yes,
And
yes.
I remember
It's
that. I was in middle school.
yeah. So it's like um, the trends are just going to really mark the opportunities for making money. That's really
Yeah.
it. That's the single take home thing right there.
Yeah.
If I could give anything, um, that's the biggest message I got besides your platform.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on, and we had a chance to talk about what's going on with the metals, and we get to talk about you a little bit uh and learn about what it is that you do. I really appreciate your time. And we can definitely do some other things in the future when it
Yeah,
comes to different topics and everything, and just like chatting it up.
yeah, and I mean, look, I mean, I always appreciate the chance to have some type of forum where I have a voice and I can at least let people know what's on my mind. So I appreciate that. And I mean, there's so many other topics that we've bounced on and talked on, and
Oh yeah.
we could touch on them one day. But I always welcome it.
Okay.
And I invite people if they have insight or if I say anything that might not be fully correct. I will always take correction. I'm always open to dialogue. I'm always open to discussion. I'm always open to expansion because at the end of the day, we all have choices, right? We can stay where we're at, where it's comfortable, but growth is uncomfortable.
Growth is
And if you,
uncomfortable.
it is. I mean,
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger said it. Growth is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But you look at someone like that where he got uncomfortable a lot, and you see where he's at, the benefits of it. So I always try to at least keep my eyes and ears open, listen to what people have to say, take it like a buffet. I don't have to eat from every plate, but take what I can and get better from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And once again, for people who don't know, I consider Dwayne one of my mentors. I come to him for a lot of different advice and information and everything. He's jam packed full of information. So if there's anything that you've heard and you want us to expand on, maybe you want to hear more from him, please let us know. We can get him on whenever he's available. He'll let me know, and I'll bring the questions from you to him, and we can take it from there. But
Great.
Dwayne, once again, man, I really appreciate you, bro. Thank you, man.
Millie Gross, Millie Gross. Many thank yous.
Yep, yep.
All right.
All right, awesome. That was dope. That was dope. That was my man right there, Dwayne. That was Dwayne. He is very insightful. He's he helped me out with just so much, just like life advice, and also like in life too. He has many businesses. He is a serial entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur. Um, he is I won't say nothing like that, but he's he's it. He's definitely it. So I appreciate him for his time.